The last time I rode before I was sick was actually at the Dublin Horse Show, so we were very, very lucky to qualify there in a team event in 2016. My leg had been bothering me on and off for maybe a month before that, so I had a little bit of pain in my ankle before that, but nothing that you would be alarmed about really. I'm a physio myself. It didn't worry me enough to do anything about it. It was very subtle and it just progressively got more painful. So I decided after the RDS to go get an MRI, and we never ever anticipated what came back. It is a very, very, very large tumour. They decided that they would try and do a reconstruction, so obviously with being 31, amputation is not the first port of call. They also had no diagnosis on it, so Mr. Gary O'Toole decided to do a reconstruction in Kappa. Unfortunately, the tumour returned about 8 weeks later, and when he reviewed it at that 8-week point, there was no chance of any more reconstruction or saving. He felt that the only kind of safe option for me was to have the leg amputated below the knee. That really was the beginning of kind of a very worrying time in some ways, because we knew that there was something more sinister at work here, that it just couldn't be your average tumour to destruct my leg to that extent. The biopsies eventually came back with the diagnosis of a high-grade osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. So Dr. Deirdre O'Mahony in CUH took on my case. To treat these tumours is very hard when you don't have anything to go on. I have none of the risk factors, so it's just all a very, very unusual case. So they gave me the nastiest chemo you can find and said, let's just do that. We're 5 scans, I think, 5 scans down the road now. They're showing nothing new, so we're very happy with that. Everyone's really positive about that. But I suppose we're nowhere near out of the woods. We're some way on the road to recovery, and I'm feeling much better myself anyway. I kept thinking I'm going to get back riding, because that's really the most important thing to me, is my hobby. It's my passion really. So when I was sick, it's kind of something that motivated me to keep going, especially during the chemo, which was hard going at times. Besides losing the leg, the chemo was extremely difficult. But I was kind of thinking, look, do you know, if I can get over this, I just really want to get back riding. Just doing basic things: get up, shower, go downstairs, breakfast. That just takes on average about 40 minutes longer than it did before, which I struggle with. I suppose the other thing is just fatigue. The amount of energy requirements it takes to walk with a below knee prosthesis, you're looking at 25% more energy expenditure with every step. So sometimes I kind of look like I'm just kind of flying around doing what everyone else is doing, but it'll be later on tonight that I kind of pay for it. The leg that I have is a walking leg. It's really good for walking. It does what it needs to do, but the problem is that when you ride, the angles on the lower leg are very different to walking. So when I ride in this leg, which is kind of all I have at the moment, I get to about 15-20 minutes into the riding and the leg has moved. Even though it's a suction cup, it's twisting and it's pulling the skin and cutting me as well. So it's just not working, and it means that I can't ride for as long or as often as I want. Getting a prosthesis to fit is a really, really complex process, and it is a process, not just let's get you a good leg. So my leg initially was hugely swollen. It has changed shape over the last 1.5 years, and it continues to change shape. So it'll take 2 years from amputation date. So we're just about coming on to a point where I can get a leg and keep it for 3 years. I've been through loads of legs to get to here. Kappa in Dublin is where I had my amputation, and they have a prosthetic service called Ottobox. So they're a private company that make prosthetic devices, all sorts of devices, upper, lower limbs. So they've taken on making me my walking legs. So the leg I'm wearing today, they've done this leg for me, hydraulic ankle, suction socket, and I find it really, really good. The hydraulic ankle is something that is relatively new, I suppose, and very few people have them. There are a couple of downsides to them, but a lot of positives. The movement in the ankle is huge, so it suits my lifestyle. And that's the problem with prosthetics, is that they need to be specific to the person's lifestyle as well. The main difference for me in the leg, it'll be the same ankle and the same suction socket, but the profiling on the inside will change, so to allow me to bend my knee and put my foot in a stirrup and have my leg against the saddle in a comfortable way for me and for the horse as well, they have to take away the inside section. That inside section is very important for walking. That's what stops me falling off the inside of the leg. If that wasn't there, I'm very unsteady to walk on regular ground. So that's why I won't be able to walk long distances in that leg. and equally why I can't ride in this because of the profiling on the inside. It cuts into the inside of my leg and the back of my leg when my foot's in the stirrup. So it's very basic when you see it on the horse, but I suppose people mightn't realise how much just a little bit of plastic, a little bit 2 millimetres over to the left can really destroy the skin on your leg, and really if that gets sore, it means I'm off my leg for a couple of days, which impacts on a lot of stuff. They're handmade, they're customised completely. If your leg changes, you've got to go back up and they got to tweak it and twinge it. It is not an exact science, it's very much an art getting it right, and I think that's the hard part. You can't buy them off a shelf. You have to make a test socket first before you can get your carbon fibre. So you're looking at months and months in the process of one leg. So it is very, very hard, and they're very expensive pieces of equipment, and that's where we're running into problems for people to get the right leg. And if you want to do sports, you need a sports leg.